Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rakakwadash. And I want to say Shalom, Yaakman out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. For those that are tuning in for the first time, what I said was giving all praises, all right, to the Father and the Son and their ancient biblical correct names. All right, the correct name of the Father is Yahweh, all right, not God, and the correct name of the Son is Yahawashi, okay, not Jesus. And after that, I said Shalom, which of course means peace unto you. All right, can be used as a greeting, all right, or a farewell. All right, now I say that because with this, we're going to be touching on Christianity, and with Christianity in the title, a lot of Christians like to flood in. Okay, we're not Christians over here. We are Hebrew Israelites. All right, we are the true Israelites that the Bible speaks of, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, and that's fact. Okay, that's fact. If you don't like it, you can go and continue up, with your madness. All right, or you can stay a while and potentially learn something. All right, if the Lord has it be. All right, if you're a Jake. So, this lesson, all right, comes to the Holy Spirit inspired by this video that I found on Instagram by this person that goes by the name Smashed Cricket. And she's completely bugged out. All right, she's gone. She's lost, as are, most Christians. Christianity is really just a mental illness. And they just have, it has them believing all sorts of whacked out, crazy things that are just not the case. Okay. So I'm going to let this play, and you're going to see, those that are in this truth, they're going to see how bugged out this is. Now, I don't know anybody that would agree with this, but, yeah, man, if you do, you need to get a mental health evaluation. So here you go. Go ahead and listen to this.
Oh, I totally forgot to mention. AI is in the Bible. AI is literally the Bible. We're in Joshua 8. Basically, Israel was sinning, didn't listen to God, of course, typical. And AI started taking over. But then they got back in the line with God, and then they destroyed AI. AI was a city, by the way. But what does AI mean? Girl. It means the ruin. Interesting, right? Oh, I totally forgot to mention. AI is in the Bible.
So, you're making false equivalents. Okay, you're saying that, oh, this word AI means the ruin, so that must mean, anytime that word AI is used, that's the ruin, right? And that's just not the case. Now, at least you were correct on calling it out as a city. Okay, it was specifically a city, all right, within Canaan. Okay, and we're going to show you that. So we'll come back to these comments because you got a lot of, and a lot of these women, all right, it's a lot of these women. Now, women are not naturally gifted with the ability to teach, all right, or really to be able to discern the scriptures in their full capacity, all right? They really need men teachers, all right? If you don't like that, then too bad, so sad, that's just the fact, all right? We know Christianity allows women to teach, but in the Bible, it does not, okay? True biblical tradition does not allow women to teach, all right? And all the reason why society is all messed up right now is because the natural order and flow of things is out of order. Okay, you got women putting themselves over men. All right, you got men thinking they're women. You got people over here, thinking that they are divinely inspired when they're not. They don't even know how to teach a scripture, let alone, get the correct, not etymology, but Hebrew or Greek for that said word. And everything's just completely out of order. All right, Christians are the same people that say you don't have to keep the law, but then they go ahead and keep the 10 Commandments, which are part of the law. So, we're under grace. Well, if you're under grace, you should be able to lie, steal, kill, and murder, right? If grace means that you can do whatever you want. Well, no, because we can't do those things. Well, if you can, all right, do certain things, but you can't do certain things, where's that in the Bible? Where in the Bible does it say, keep these laws, but don't keep these other laws? All right, I'm going to give you these 10 Commandments, and I'm going to give you, 603 other laws, because there's 613 laws within the Bible, all right, or as, they say in the Torah, all right, which we don't read, they call them mitzvahs, all right, so that's their word for law, okay, and there's 613 of them, okay, not 10, 613, okay, laws that you should technically be keeping if you're keeping the law to its perfect extent. All right. Now we know we can't keep the law to its perfect extent. All right. In its capacity, and any capacity, really, we can do the best of our ability. Okay. There's certain things, for example, one of the big contested things with Christians, some Christian flavors. All right. Like, for example, the Seventh-day Adventists, they say you shouldn't be eating pork, you shouldn't be eating shellfish. But other Christians, like regular Christianity or Mormons, they say that you can. All right. For example, so there's too much contested law, first of all, within the Christian religion. Okay. Now, we teach the Bible, we preach the Bible. All right. We preach, of the Father and the Son and the return of the Son, but we are not called as Christians. All right. We don't call ourselves Christians. Now, biblically, would we be called Christians? Technically, yes. But we don't use that term because the term Christian has been tainted. Okay. It's been tainted. So, for example, the picking of the choosing of the law, water bottles, all right, usually use animal proteins. Okay. Now, they say it's primarily beef, but we know they're using pork because pork is cheaper. Okay. Now, they put fats, animal fats, all right, proteins and different things in plastics. You can look that up. It's not BS. You can go and look that up. And being that we're not supposed to eat pigs, all right, that is a law within Leviticus, right? That's part of the dietary law. We shouldn't be drinking out of something that has animal fat from a pig in it. Okay, that would make it unclean, in turn making us unclean. All right, but we can't help that. Okay, we can't help that. But we can help not purposely eating pork. We can help not purposely going out and committing adultery. All right, is there sometimes where you're going to look upon a woman, or Lord forbid, you can go out and do the mommy daddy, all right, with a woman, and she was lying to you about being single, and it turns out she wasn't single, and she had a man hidden somewhere, right? Again, the Lord, will forgive you for that because you had no way to know. Okay, you had no way to know. It wasn't purposeful. Okay, He's not gonna condemn you for trying to keep the law, and then or someone puts bacon in your food and you didn't know, right? He's not gonna do that. But yeah, so they have all these different stipulations, right? So if that was the case, so we know, first of all, no, we cannot keep the law to the perfect ability. All right, we can keep it to the best of our ability. All right, now the point comes in with Christians is, do you keep the law or you don't? Because they say, oh, the law was done away with. Well, if the law was done away with, the 10 Commandments are a part of that. So why aren't those done away with? Well, we keep those. Well, if you're keeping those, why not any of the other 603? Right? What about the other ones? Well, are they less important? They're still just as important, right? There's positive ones and negative ones, things that you should do and things that you shouldn't do. Why don't those matter, but only the 10 matter? Right? That doesn't make any sense. That's picking and choosing, and that's the big thing with Christians, is the picking and the choosing of the law. Okay? Now, we know biblically, I'll get a scripture for it, because a lot of Christians we're not under the law. Okay? We're not under law. We're under grace. Okay? Well, yeah, that is true, but you forget to read verse 15. Romans 6:14, the one that they quote from time to time, says, "For sin shall not have dominion over you, for you're not under the law, but under grace." See, we're under grace. Okay, we're not under the law, we're under grace. Yeah, but verse 15 says what? It says, "What then shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? Yahweh forbid." Now, in order to fully understand this, you got to go and understand something. Sin is right here. I'm not going to spoil it. This is 1 John 3 and 4. What is sin? Well, sin's not doing something the Lord wants you to do. Exactly, all right? To an extent, all right? But what does it really mean? 1 John 3 and 4. Whosoever, and Slakia means forgive me. There I do it again. Whosoever, 1 John 3 and 4, whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law. What is transgress? What does it mean to transgress? Transgress means to overstep a boundary. Okay, it says to go beyond set limits, such as violating a moral, social, or legal boundary. All right, so you're breaking a law. Okay, you're breaking a law. So if you go back into Romans 6 and 15 and translate it, what then? Shall we break the law because we're not under the law but under grace? Yahweh forbid, right? So should we break the law because we're not under it? No, that just means we have grace because, again, pork and water bottles. All right, for example, another one of the laws that we can't keep is well, we can't keep it perfectly. I mean, it would be very hard to. Would be the no mixed fabrics. All right, have fun trying to find socks, pants, shirts, and some drawers. All right, that are going to be 100% cotton. All right, a lot of people won't want to wear no 100% cotton drawers or pants. You want to know why? Because they'd have to have a drawstring. Okay, if you look at medieval underwear, I'll go and look it up. They all had drawstrings. Okay. For example, let's see. These are medieval underpants right here. Okay. You see that they have a tie on them. Okay. Essentially a drawstring. When they're not necessarily drawing this in this case, they're, putting a knot in it and tying it. If you look at, these seem to be one variety or another, maybe potentially a female garment. If you look at male underwear, if you look at this is a bra or brassiere. All right, you can see that it's more loose. It's not gonna, women of the day would consider it not as quite supporting. Okay, it wouldn't be as supporting, right? Because they're not gonna have any of the crazy wires or anything in that. They're not gonna have any of those things. And then finally, let's see if we can find a pair of male underwear. Here we are. Okay. Resembling boxers. Okay. What do you see there? Okay. Drawstrings. Okay. And a cinch. Okay. So you pull them tight. That's what you would do. No, a lot of people don't want that. All right. Everything uses elastic nowadays. Okay. So, or polyester. So it's, naturally stretches and, conforms to your body to some extent. Right. So there's another thing that we can't keep. Okay. So yes, there's certain things that we can't keep, all right, and would be unreasonable to try to be perfect with it. But there's other things that are perfectly reasonable. All right, we cannot purposely eat unclean animals. All right, we can purposely. All right, we cannot purposely commit adultery. All right, we cannot purposely go and do this or that. All right, now there's certain things again that are not within our capacity to do. All right, we don't know what all they're putting in the food supply. For example, even eating beef, all right, we know that the American food supply is tainted. They allow bugs. All right, there's only a few bugs that are deemed as clean within the Bible. All right, I think the beetle and the locust is pretty much it. All right, but they allow all sorts of different things, parasites and worms and fly and all these different things on top of that, animal droppings, and specifically ones even from unclean animals like rats, to be in the food and making you unclean. So that's not something we can do, but we can not purposely eat a pork chop. All right, so anyway, little bit of a tangent there, but Christians always want to pick and choose with the law. All right, they want to pick and choose what you can do, what you can't do, what you can say, what you can't say. And then they say, oh, you can't say bad words because bad words are, we just touched on that yesterday. Well, bad words are a man-made concept that came about in the Victorian era, not in the medieval, the Renaissance period. Okay? So know that the Lord would have never condemned, all right, the word piss. All right? He would have never condemned that, all right, because it wouldn't have been something, one, that was even said at the time, and then two, it wouldn't have been considered vulgar. Humans, all right, decided what was vulgar or what was not vulgar. Okay? The Lord decides what was profane and not profane. Okay? Anyway, so a lot of, that's the law, is that women were not to be teaching. Okay? But again, Christians like to pick and choose. Okay, now, is that something you could keep well within your ability? Yes. As a woman, you can just not teach. That's not so, oh, I accidentally started teaching. No, that's not how it works. That's purposeful. Okay? That's a premeditated doing. Okay? So you can just not do it. But again, Christians don't like the law, but then they keep the 10 Commandments, which are part of the law. Christianity is the ministry of picking and choosing. All right, that's really what it is at the end of the day. And Christians don't understand anything. That's why they be in the church for 30, 40, 50 years, and half of their questions aren't answered. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what the Bible means. They can't read it. It's confusing to them, all right? I don't understand it, all right? Now, certain parts of the Bible, are they a little bit more confusing than others? Yes, because of the wording, all right? But if you just slow down and read it, all right, you'll grasp it if the Holy Spirit is dealing with you, right? Or sometimes, you know, you need a man with more knowledge to explain it. All right. Sometimes I've had that happen from time to time. All right. There's a scripture I'll read. I'm like, I don't really get it. And then I'll hear a brother or apostle bring it out and say, okay, I see what that wording was meaning. Because again, the wordage can be, it's not, you know, the message, it's the wordage. Sometimes you can get wrapped up in the words. All right. And thou that hast been, you know, when you do that, or you have certain metaphorical speaking, you know, with waves and water and certain things, and then on top of that you throw in the Elizabethan, you're like, I'm confused, right, with the speaking part. All right, but once you slow it down, all right, or get the etymology, or really get it in another translation and compare, you're like, okay, I get it, right? So yeah, with that, let's go ahead and play this video, all right, to its full capacity again. And then we'll start jumping into, you know, really what she's talking about with, you know, the city of Canaan.
Bible. AI is literally the Bible. We're in Joshua 8. Basically, Israel was sinning, didn't listen to God, of course, typical. And AI started taking over. But then they got back in line with God, and then they destroyed AI. AI was a city, by the way. But what does AI mean? Girl. It means the ruin. Interesting, right? Oh, I totally forgot to mention. AI is in the Bible. AI is literally...
So, you know, it's just, you know, anyway. I mean, that's such a far stretch. You know, there's certain words you can look up now. I don't even think it occurs in the Bible. Let me see. No, game, but let's do, try to find something. Let's see. I can't really think of an example. That'd be like looking for something like food and say, like, see, food's fat, and so-and-so got their food fast. Fast food is literally in the Bible. Well, that's a stretch, right? That's a stretch. But anyway. So this is Joshua, all right, 8, and that's what she was reading, mind you. We can actually show 1 minute.
8. Basically, is...
Yep, Joshua 8, you hear. And then you can also see in the scripture that she's talking about. 1 minute.
Didn't listen to God, of course, typical. And AI started taking over. But then they got back in line with God, and then they destroyed AI. AI was a city, by the way. But what does AI mean? Girl.
Here we are. Okay, so you can see, blank at Mount Ebal. All right, and then you can see he stood in the front of Mount Gerizim. And now she's not reading the King James version. She's specifically reading the NIV version, and this is what she's reading: the covenant renewed at Mount Ebal. You can see down here, it's the same thing. You can see that if we go, I'll actually just bring this up. We'll bring that up as well because we already have it over here. So if you go and look, you'll see facing the Levitical priests who so down here, facing the Levitical priests who carried it. Okay. And then half of the people stood in front of Mount Gerizim. Okay, and you can see that down here. Right over, right? Stood in front of Mount Gerizim. And so this is what she's talking about. Specifically, these verses is where she's getting this. All right, whatever version of the NIV, and that's in the New International Version, the NIV, which is one of the ones that the Christians use a lot. I think it's the most common one, honestly. But whichever version she has this little footer down here that says AI means the ruin. Okay, now you don't really see too much about AI in any of the verses down there at the bottom. She's just, you know, getting the footnote, because at the top of Joshua 8 you can see the header is the conquest of I think it's pronounced I. All right, let me see.
Strong's H 5857. I.
All right, I, yeah.
I.
So the conquest of
Aya.
All right, so Aya. So or I or Aya. Okay, not AI. Okay, it's not AI. First of all, AI isn't AI, it's AI. Okay, look, AI. Okay, look, you see topics related to Airbus, Air Canada, nothing. But if I type in A and then capital I, artificial intelligence comes up. Intelligence of machines. That's what, she's trying to say. This is not AI. This is I, or ya. Okay. So first of all, you're pronouncing it completely wrong. Okay. Which actually, in the ancient Hebrew, let's see how it was actually pronounced, if it's correct. I'm not the best with this, but let me see. Paleo Hebrew, get my chart. Like I said, certain brothers are more gifted with the, using the old Hebrew. I'm not the best at it, but let's go see. So, this is, yeah. So, yeah, you can see the first letter right there is I, and then the second one after it is Ya. So, Ayah. So, ancient Hebrew is, well, even modern Hebrew is spoken or read or written from right to left, not left to right. All right to left. So Ayah. So technically, this is not AI. It's not I. It's Ayah. Okay. The name of the city in Canaan was Ayah. Okay. Ayah. So it says the Ayah, the heap of ruins. All right, which is correct. It correctly did say that on the bottom, means the ruin. It means a heap of ruins specifically. It says Ayah was a city in Canaan mentioned in the Hebrew Bible. According to the book of Joshua, it was conquered by the Israelites, headed by Joshua during their conquest of Canaan. Okay, so it was a city. Okay, it was a city. And you can see this is a depiction of Joshua burns the town of Ayah. You see they're all made into, white people, or these ones look more Middle Eastern. But yeah, so that's a depiction of it. It's crazy good art though. But But yeah, so the why no, that goes back to, well, it's nomen omen for births, but this is almost really a if you go look up nomen omen, all right, it means the name is a sign, the name is an omen, suggesting the person's name reflects their character, fate, or future. Well, really, this is a case of omen nomen, because the name of Ayah was reflecting of their future, where they would be brought to a ruin. Okay, so there you go. So yeah, it's not dealing with artificial intelligence. It's not dealing with a demon or some spiritual. No, it's dealing with a ancient city that was in Canaan, all right, that was destroyed by the Israelites, all right, headed by the leader Joshua, all right, him leading the charge, all right, and that's what it meant. And the city was laid to ruin, and the city's name was, ruins, all right, the ruin. Okay, so this isn't the conquest of AI, this is the conquest of Ayah. Okay, so again, you got to speak accordingly. You're trying to make false is equivalencies a word? Yeah, it is. False equivalencies. All right? Or equivalency. Okay?
Equivalency.
All right. The level of achievement equivalent to there's another word. It's like false comparisons. Words are synonyms or equivalent. Let's see. False is false equivalencies a word? I don't think it is. Yeah, they're acceptable. I don't know. Yeah. So alternate name. You're comparing apples to oranges. It's two different things. You're making false equivalencies, right? So, and that's what you're doing. So, again, and we don't have to go and read through Joshua 8. I mean, you can read it if you want to. It's just going to deal with just that, the conquest of Ayah. It's not going to have anything to do with AI. Okay, but let's go see if these. And mind you, let's go on what the words are. The word here it is. Ayah means a heap of ruins. It literally means heap of ruins. It's a city lying east of Bethel and beside Bethaven near Jericho, and the second city taken on the invasion of Canaan. Okay, it's a city of the Ammonites on the east of the Jordan and apparently attached to Heshbon. If you go down to the root word, it means ruin, heap of ruins. Okay, and if you go into here, this is on the Bible Hub, which I don't use, but it's the same word, Ayah, and it means an old Canaanite city, all right, near Bethel to the southeast, exact site unknown. And you know, so yeah, that's what it means. It's not dealing with AI, man. AI is ancient intelligence. Let's go look at this lady. Okay, bugged out. Kind of cute, but bugged out, right? So gone in the head. All right, a lot of it's women, because women, they're not good at discerning. Damn, he is pouring out his spirit for real. AI is the beast that they gave power. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. No, it's not. Shut up. All right, and this looks to be, what is this? Some type of mix. A Mexican and black, maybe. Son of God, son of light. There ain't no light in you. All right, it's all about perspective, because he is, I am too. What are you talking about, dude? You're bugged out. This guy's bugged out. He's bug out. All right, he doesn't know what he's talking about. That's the beast. All right, the beast that they gave life and power to. No, that's the beast. The beast is a system. It's a system in a form of government. Okay, and it's dealing with all of the Edomite powers. All right, aka NATO. All right, NATO is the beast. All right, 7 heads. All right, and 10 horns. 10 horns is referring to the EU, and then the 7 heads is referring to, you know, the 7 Edomite rulerships. All right, Germania Major, Germania Minor. All right, the French, the Greek. All right, I can actually go and show you. Okay, right here. Okay, this is the 7 heads equal to 7 kingdoms ruled by Esau. Esau is the so-called white man, but not every white-looking person is an Edomite, just like not every brown-looking person is an Israelite. Okay, Germania Major, the Romans, the French, the Spanish, Germania Minor, the British, and the Greeks. And of course, the 10 horns represent the common market, or the EEC. Today, the EEC is known as the EU, the European Union. So that's the beast, not AI. Okay? No, you're completely wrong. Again, bugged out. Inside of a computer, it looks like a city. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Okay? You cut an apple a certain type of way, it's gonna look like a woman's box. Does that make it a vagina? No, it doesn't. It's fucking stupid. Anyway, god damn, these people are dumb. These people are really dumb. So here's this lady right here. She's, well, that's her child. Come on, get to her. Well, you know, you can see she's all with the feminist and transgender shit, which is weird because she's, I don't know, she's all bugged out. Her art, it's okay. It's not the best, not the worst. You know, it's not my style. I would say it's well executed. It's just not necessarily my style. I won't say it's bad art, just not my specific style. Like surrealism, like abstract line art. Looks like she does a lot of like weird line art, but anyway, it's not bad. I'm not gonna bag on you for your art, but I will bag on you about your mental perspective. I read yesterday and was like, what the heck? AI. All right, and Jennifer Rodriguez, raising 3 amazing warriors for Christ. Not very well, you're not. Okay, what else do we got? This is let's go see. It says, girl, wait, because I thought you was talking about something metaphorically. I was shook when you turned the camera around. I saw AI. Again, Jake don't know what the hell they're talking about. All right, they're gone. You gone. You gone. You might just be, let's see. You don't have your voice, but you could be a medic. All right, let me see.
Viral TikTok videos.
Oh, that is so cute.
That baby is ugly as hell. Why is white like that?
Javante, ain't nobody told me.
Nah, you would, Jake. But yeah, so, you know, Jesus is Lord. Not Lord of anything good. All right, Lord of death, because Jesus is a white man. Go and look him up, then look Yahweh Shai up. All right, and then go to Revelation 1 and 14, see which one adds up. Okay, the image of the beast will have power to speak. It's toxic AI. That's not what it's talking about. I bet everyone's agreeing with you. No, completely all just a bunch of arguing. They don't know what they're talking about. It's really common mix-up because they're spelled exactly the same. And Joshua Ayah is actually the name of an ancient Canaanite city. It's a Hebrew word that literally means the ruin, which is pretty fitting since the story ends up with the city being destroyed. Of course, you know, omen nomen. So, man, there's no mix-up. The Creator clearly said everything you said, but without disregard for the fact that the Bible is a multi-faceted spiritual text with coded meanings. It says, I wouldn't be surprised if you were an LLM. You don't, you know, again, You don't. You're gone. Okay? You're gone. You're gone. You're gone. That's you right now. All right? That's what you got going on. And this is actually, you know what? Let's get one extra that I didn't have. This is Isaiah 8:20, and it says, "To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them." No. Yes, you're right in the regard that, yes, the Bible has hidden meanings. This is not one of them. Okay? This is not one of them. Okay? Ayah means Ayah. It means the city in Canaan that was brought to ruin. That's what it means. It doesn't mean limited language models. All right? It doesn't mean, no, it means what it means. It means Ayah. Sometimes scripture means what it means, and sometimes there's a deeper meaning. Sometimes it's plain. Sometimes it's more metaphorical. Okay? And you got to be able to discern between which are which. And this is not one of the ones where it's metaphorical. Ayah is the city that meant ruin. That's what it means. Okay? That's what it means. So, all these people just completely just gone. All right, they're just gone. Anyway. Yep, it sure is, and it's also the Antichrist that everyone keeps looking for. Keep reading, you'll get there. You're bugged out. Okay, you're bugged out. You're gone. All right, you're gone. You're completely gone. And this woman's gone, and I bet she has a bunch of other things that are completely bugged out on her channel. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I'm just looking. Okay, wait a minute. She got Mystery Babylon. She got American flag here. Maybe.
Welcome back. This is part 19, Mystery Babylon. We're talking about all the sins.
I created this painting to demonstrate the system, the mixtures we are all in, and how the 7 deadly sins are constantly being pushed into society. The sins are all color-coordinated.
7 deadly sins are not biblical. All right, there's 613 laws that can be broken, equating to sin. All right, not just pride, lust, sloth, wrath, greed, envy, and gluttony. As a matter of fact, these the Lord hate. All right, a proud look. All right, so let's go and equate it. Okay, so pride. All right, so they have pride, lust, sloth, wrath, greed, envy, and gluttony. No, so really it's a proud look, pride, a lying tongue, lying, okay, and hands that shed innocent blood, murder, okay, a heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, so, that would just be wicked thinking, feet that be swift in running to mischief, okay, wicked dealings, a false witness that speaketh lies, specifically bearing false witness, not just a lie saying something that's not true, but also putting something on someone that's not true. And he that soweth discord among brethren, specifically trying to cause disputes, all right, between brethren. That's 7. All right, those are really the 7 things that the Lord hates. All right, now there's more that he hates. All right, but these are the big 7. All right, so the 7 deadly sins. Where did the whole 7 deadly sins come from? Fourth century Christian monk Evagrius Ponticus. Okay, so nope, not in the Bible. Anyway, calling that one out.
The billboards are the sin being pushed, and the people in their stories are the solution out of the matrix.
I painted the city of Babel. In Hebrew, Babel means confusion.
True.
I totally forgot I dropped the painting on the ground. Babel is where humanity tried to build a tower to the heavens to make a name for themselves. This symbolizes human pride, rebellion against God, and false unity. Historical Babylon becomes the real manifestation of that rebellion. Mystery Babylon, Revelation 17 and 18, becomes the final expression of that spirit in the end times. Today, Mystery Babylon isn't just a place, it's a system, it's a pattern. It's where people trade truth for comfort, religion is used as...
No, it's a place. It's a place. Now, Babylonian wine is a concept, all right? because all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, right? But it is a place. Babylon is a place, and that place is America. So you're completely wrong about a lot of things. So I thought you were. I thought you might have been onto something having the American flag in there, but nope. All right. So let's get a couple scriptures here and close out. 1 Timothy 2:12. My mouse is running out. So 1 Timothy 2:12. Bear with me one moment. Oh, bear with me. Okay. Boom, bam. All right. Praise the Lord. Call all you how about you, That was the E6. All right. Only had one more USB slot on my on the top of my PC, so call all you how about me. I'm sure my wife keeps her iPad charger out here because that's a USB-C to USB-C. So I have a USB-C port on the top, but didn't have another USB 3.0 slot. All right, so a standard, what is it? What do they call it? USB-A or something. Anyway, but 1 Timothy 2:12, it says, "But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence." A woman is not supposed to be teaching. 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 Okay. Verse 13, "For Adam was first formed, then Eve, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression." So that's another reason why women shouldn't teach and shouldn't be able to teach, is because, again, they were the first one that was deceived. Okay, Eve was not. Well, Adam went off, yeah, but he wasn't deceived. He went off by, trusting in a woman. All right, that's where he went off. All right, is essentially being complicit to a woman's way. All right, so really simpatry, if you really want to get down to it, simpism. All right, that was the first sin that man committed. All right, was simping for a woman. All right, because when he did that, not that doing that is necessarily a sin, but it'll lead you into a sin. All right, look what happened with King Solomon. All right, also happened with women. All right, happened with women, started worshiping their God. So you got to be careful, man. So women don't have the level of discernment that a man has. And the other thing is that they're the weaker vessels. All right, and so we should show honor unto them, as the scriptures say, because they are the weaker vessels. We should acknowledge that and, protect them and help them. But we're only going to protect and help righteous women, okay? And that's it. We're not gonna, we're not Captain Save-A-Ho over here. All right, that ain't how it goes. Okay, so yeah, women are not supposed to be teaching. Okay, but I suffer not a woman to teach. Okay, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. So 1, they're not to teach. 2, they're not try to teach men, and 3, they're not try to usurp authority over the man. All right, ultimately they are to be in silence. Okay, so. But again, these people don't know what they're talking about, and that goes back to Isaiah 8:20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there's no light in them. It's like the opposite of the worldly parable. All right, the lights are on, but nobody's home. No, somebody's home, but they're sitting in the dark. No lights are on in that place. Someone's there, all right, but they're just sitting on the carpet in the dark. All right, that's what's happening to these people. They're spiritually stripped, spiritually barren, right? 1 Corinthians 14:34-35, it says, "Let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law. And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home, for it is a shame to speak in the church." We love women, all right? We love our women. We love our wives. Look, it's just not for you to teach, okay? A lot of people try to say we hate women. We're not homosexuals. We don't hate women. We love women. All right. I like women, obviously, duh, right? But the thing is, there's certain things that you're supposed to be doing and certain things that we're supposed to be doing, and your job is not to be teaching in a church. Like, that's not. And these online ministries are likened to a church, so you're not supposed to be leading an online ministry. You're not supposed to be doing that. Okay, and you're damn sure not supposed to be in a church setting trying to, go up there and, be Erica Kirk damn near, right? Ridiculous. Okay, it's not your job. You have other beautiful jobs, all right, motherhood and, helping build the man up and turn the man builds you up, and, it's an excellent, beautiful thing. There's just certain things that men don't do, and there's certain things that women don't do. Men are commanded to be masculine, women are commanded to be feminine. Okay, so we'd be going off. We started being effeminate all of a sudden. The Bible, what's the word? Condemns. All right, effeminate men. Okay, you're not supposed to be being effeminate, but it's not wrong for a woman to be effeminate. Okay, a woman shouldn't be being brutish and masculine either, but it's not bad for a man to have the masculinity. Okay, trait. So yeah, man, it's just different, as they say in the world, different strokes for different folks. All right, different rules. All right, different rules for different pools. All right, so if you're in the female pool, okay, a little different than the male pool. Okay, so Matthew 15 and 14, and this goes to all these people out here that are, teaching these false teachings online, in person, wherever they happen to be. It says, let them alone, they be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. And I know people are going to hate to hear it, but I always equate this to, I repeat myself a lot, and that's how you learn. It's a good thing to keep in your brain. It's the way I look at it is, if I have 10% knowledge of a subject, I can only teach you 10% of that subject. If I know 50, you can get 50. If I know 100, you can get 100. Okay? For example, over here, you're not going to get that much information on, breaking down, the ancient Hebrew and comparing it with modern Hebrew. And I do it a little bit, but I'm not the best at that. So you're not going to become very proficient, all right, at that by watching me. There's other brothers that are out there. That doesn't mean I don't have the whole percent truth, or that they have, 110% of the truth. It's just that different brothers have qualifications in different areas, all right? Not everyone's going to be a carpenter, all right? Some people are going to be electricians, right? If you know what I mean. Some people are going to be the builders. Some people are going to be the painters, all right? Doesn't make the builder better than the painter. Doesn't make the painter better than the engineer. Doesn't make the engineer better than the carpenter, all right? We all work together to serve one purpose, and each of us does the 100% of what we should be doing, all right? At least to the best of our ability. But that's not one of my skill focuses. So you're not going to be getting a whole bunch of information on the Hebrew. Another thing I'm not the best at is going into deep historical dives, all right? You want a brother for that? Elder Yashar Wamba, man, from GMS Dallas, all right? His page is, what is his page? Let me go and shout him out, man. I think one is GMS Dallas in class. Look at that. They're live right now. So GMS Yuan, he's one of the brothers that are in that camp. You can go and subscribe to him. All right. Right there. Boom. GMS Yuan. And let me see if he has the... No, he doesn't. Let me see. I can find it, though. I'm sure they have more pages than that, but... let me see. Remnant Saved 144. This is his page. This is Elder Yashar Wamber's page right here. All right. One of them, at least. And then he also has a... right here. GMS Dallas in class 999, GMS Ends of Day 7, Remnant Save 144 BA. So you can go to all of these, okay? You can go to all these, all right? All those and subscribe. But you want a deep, I mean, if I just go to his page, let's see. There's a lot of them. All right, there's a lot of different things. Kings in Exile, Path of Yahushai. Sometimes you're gonna see different things, but yeah. There was some just not too long ago. You see them a lot, but he'll do these hour, like these hour, 2 hour, prophecy watch and stuff like that. That's yeah, man. So there you go. Go and subscribe. Right, go and subscribe, and of course all the apostles. All right, Daily Edification 4. That's the Apostolic Bar. You can get the Apostles Live, right? The Street Ministry, GMS Apostles Street Ministry. You can go and get see if I can find it. These are the Apostle of Horrors page is GMS. What is the 666 mark? GMS Truth. All right, 2. What is a 666 mark? 2 GMS Truth, and then of course, GMS Info dot channel 12 is the Apostle Ramallah. All right, so go and subscribe to all of them. You want some deep dives? You can go get them. All right, but yeah. So getting back on a topic, if the maximum that you can learn from someone is 10%, all you're going to get is 10%. And if you're not that mentally apt, you might only get 9 to 8% out of it, right? You might not reach their full capacity. So someone that has 0%, what are you going to get? 0%. And that's those blind. The blind have 0%. Okay. So they're giving 0%, and those people are receiving 0%. So Matthew 15:14, let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch. When a blind person, a seeing impaired person, is walking down the street, they don't give them a blind dog to guide them. They have a seeing eye dog, or they have a person that can, guide them. They have a guide with them that's seeing. They're not also blind, right? No. So, that's not how it works, right? So you got to find someone that knows, all right, if you want to come into the knowing. And then finally, 2 Timothy 4:3, and this is what we're saying a lot, and we're saying this with Israel as well. There was Jake on that page. It says 2 Timothy 4:3, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. They don't want to hear, the truth taught as it is. They don't like how we teach. They don't like how the Hebrew Israelites teach. We're too harsh, all right? We're offensive to them, okay? They don't like it, all right? It says, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. Let's go on to verse 4. It says, and they shall turn their ears from the truth. They shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. Your homework for the day is to go and look up what is a fable definition. Type that in, okay? And a fable is a tall tale, a story, all right? And sometimes it's a story with a meaning, but usually it means a fictitious story, something that is not true. And that's what they've turned their ears to, all right? So that's been the lesson, all right? Don't listen to any of these wacky-tacky Christian mentally ill hospital patients, man. They're mental hospital patients, okay? Not a regular one, a mental hospital patient, because they'll have you thinking just as crazy as them, man. So don't do it. So no, all right, the Bible does not mention artificial intelligence, all right? It mentions a city. Now, really all AI is dealing with, spirits and demons, all right? That's it, and it doesn't make it wicked. AI is that, you see the apostles using AI, all right? But it's not like witchcraft in a sense. I mean, in a sense it is, in a sense it's not. It's there's weird stuff with it. It's good and it's bad. Sometimes it can be useful. It can be useful for good. It can be useful for bad. All right. So Esau is trying to use all that technology for war, but you see the apostles and people such as myself, not to put myself on the same level with the apostles, the elders, brothers, of course. What we use it for is we use it for other things as well, certain looking things up, but what related to these lessons is, proving a truth or asking it certain questions about scriptures and seeing how it rolls, right? Sometimes it gets it right, sometimes it goes off. So that's the lesson, man. That's where we're going to close it. Lord, what was edifying. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakbadash. Shalom, you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing. Shalom.